Welcome to this update. So this is a very serious event today. We have this moderate risk tornado threat, 15% hatched in parts of northwestern Illinois, Iowa, northern Missouri, and southwestern Wisconsin. Wind 45% hatched and 30%, and a 5% all the way from southern Texas there, and another 5% in the northeast. Hail, a 5% in the northeast and parts of Quebec, and 5% from Texas to the UP of Michigan, 15% hatched from Texas to Wisconsin, and 30% and 45% hatched in Iowa and Missouri and northeastern Kansas. Yes. There's a moderate risk of severe thunderstorms over much of Iowa and nearby parts of southeastern Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, and Missouri. An outbreak of severe thunderstorms, including potential for strong tornadoes, is expected mainly this afternoon to early evening. The greatest threat is over Iowa and parts of the adjacent states. So this is very severe and should be taken seriously. So let's see the HER model here. You can see all that rain and maybe some storms in parts of Minnesota, Wisconsin now, some storms in Nebraska now, and parts of South Dakota. And then the low pressure goes there. The storms are firing very close to the low pressure. And then this line starts to form a very vigorous line of storms there in Iowa. Maybe with some very damaging winds, large hail, and embedded tornadoes possible. So the line continues there, but it becomes more of a scattered line layer, maybe a scattered line of supercells. You can see some bean shapes in there, and then the line continues there, and it gets very strong in Wisconsin layer. You can see very heavy rain in some areas and probably some strong winds with that line of storms in Wisconsin as it goes to the UP of Michigan and then to southern Ontario. So, and then even some small storms firing near the low pressure layer, but those will probably be fine. So let's see here. And the HER shows the storms kind of dissipating by the time it gets to Chicago and Indiana there, but there can still be some strong storms by then. So let's see here the NAM. Let's see many options just to have ideas. So shows it doesn't show as much of a vigorous line of storms in Iowa, but it shows many strong storms there, but more of a line in parts of southern Minnesota. And then the line of storms forms there and goes to Wisconsin, and the low pressure moves up north to Canada, but it's showing the storms kind of dissipating by the time they get to Chicago there, but there are some other storms further south that move into southern Illinois and Indiana there by 7C Wednesday. So by tomorrow it must come down in the Midwest, but we have severe weather in some other areas. We'll talk about that soon. So let's see the HER again and some thermal dynamics here. Let's see this cape here and wind. So you can see here, here comes a lot of cape near the low pressure there as it goes north in Iowa too. This doesn't go out further, but shows by 19Z today lots of cape there in parts of Iowa, Missouri, and in other areas. So definitely it will be unstable. And let's show you these model runs from earlier today. This year the estimated wind gusts from the HER. So it shows that the worst winds will be like southwestern Wisconsin, eastern Iowa, and northwestern Missouri there. Let's zoom in to eastern Iowa there. It shows very strong winds, like almost to 100 miles per hour in some areas with these storms. So be careful, very strong winds. And then this here's the storm helicity that shows the probability of supercells rotating thunderstorms that can produce tornadoes. So this is like the whole day here. So first in Iowa there, some strong signals for rotating updrafts. Then the storms continue there, and it goes. The probabilities shift towards some areas of northwestern Illinois there, northern Missouri, and many areas of Wisconsin to have some probabilities for rotating storms. So definitely be careful in Wisconsin there and in Iowa. And this I showed you here before about the winds, that's northwestern Illinois, not Missouri. So let's see here. So this is interesting too, is the simulated satellite, what it might look like. And you can see this only goes until 19C, but you can see all the storms in Iowa there, very powerful, and then moving to Wisconsin there, northern Illinois. So this here the lightning strikes. So you can see like it's an estimate of the lightning flash rate. So you can see there in Nebraska, like now and earlier today, and then it goes to Iowa there. Very lots of lightning there with those storms. And then let's move this further here, more there in Iowa and Wisconsin and other areas. Very interesting this. Now let's see the excessive rainfall. There is a slight risk of excessive rainfall from Iowa there and Wisconsin, most of Minnesota, some parts of northeastern South Dakota there, southern Ontario and other areas, and a marginal risk from Oklahoma there all the way to Ontario. So this for today, they choose a slight risk there from North Texas to Kentucky and a marginal. Day 3 is a slight from North Texas to Tennessee too, and 2 marginals. Day 4 a marginal, day 5 a marginal. So let's see the quantitative precipitation this for today, tomorrow, and days 1 through 7 here. Snowfall is no biggie, just some areas there of possible snowfall. But the temperatures in southern Texas is definitely a biggie. So very hot in parts of there, a heat wave. So please be careful with the heat and everything. So now let's take a look at Canada real fast, because these storms will affect there too now and in the coming days. So there are some rainfall warnings in parts of southern and southwestern, like western and southern Ontario there, for this rain and everything, and some wind advisories for northerly wind gusts of 70 miles per hour. Then we have special weather statements for rainfall too, and in parts of Quebec there, southeastern Quebec, there's a severe thunderstorm watch. Conditions are favorable for the development of dangerous thunderstorms capable of producing strong winds, large hail, and heavy rain this afternoon. So be careful there in parts of southeastern Quebec. And later this afternoon and even running into night, we might get some more warnings or severe thunderstorm watches in parts of Ontario too, because of the system going north there. So let's see here the next few days of severe weather. So tomorrow they just put in an enhanced risk there from Texas to southern Missouri. So tornadoes are 5% and 2%, wind 30% and 15% and 5%, and hails 30% hatched and 15% in those areas and a 5%. So there's also this light risk from central Texas there to southeastern Ontario, and the marginal risk too. So severe thunderstorms posing a risk of damage in wind, hail will be possible for central Texas into the Ohio Valley and lower Great Lakes vicinity on Wednesday. The highest concentration of damage in gusts and large hail is expected from North Texas to Missouri and Buffalo vicinity. So there can be an isolated tornado or two. Be careful as well. So day 3, luck, there's a slight risk there. Parts of Oklahoma, North Texas, Arkansas, Kansas, southwestern Missouri, and other areas. And there's this marginal risk from Texas to South Dakota. There's this marginal risk in the northeast there, and growing up into northeastern Canada too. So be aware there. There might be some storms on day 2 in those areas. Severe thunderstorms are possible across parts of Kansas and Oklahoma into the Arklatex region on Thursday. Damaging gusts, hail, and a couple tornadoes will be possible. Isolated strong severe thunderstorms possible in the Central Plains into the South Dakota and across the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast coastal areas. So be aware. So day 4 there's nothing. Day 5 there's a 15% from North Texas to Arkansas. So let's be aware on day 5. And you won't believe this. Day 6 there's also a 15% from Arkansas to Indiana there. So there might be some big stuff on day 6 too. Day 7 nothing. Day 8 proofed. So please be careful. And let's see this name here. So it shows there the big storms and everything. So and it shows that Wednesday too, the big storms forming North Texas and Oklahoma there. The line of storms from today there in Illinois and in other areas. And it shows the low pressure going to Ontario there, and some snow starts forming back behind it by 15C Wednesday. So even some freezing rain and snow there in parts of Ontario, and you can see many storms in parts of the Northeast there on Thursday, in parts of Pennsylvania, the upstate New York, Quebec, and other areas there. Many thunderstorms, and then you start seeing more snow in parts of Montana and Idaho and other areas there. So stay safe, and this is it, I think. Please stay safe and have lots of ways to receive warnings, and at night too. Please have and stay safe.